There we go. We are here. We are on the stream. Let me get my camera moved over because we always do a little bit of toyage, I guess, up there. But here we are. Another week, another live stream. I am Justin the Zilla with the hat. A nice hat today. Love this hat. One of my classic hats. I don't know if I've worn them on this. I think I have. This looks weird, at least for right now. But we're here. We're doing our live stream. It's a Friday night. Well, at 6 p.m. So it's not really night. It's evening, I guess, technically. Isn't that right? I guess nighttime. I always associate it with like past like 7 as nighttime, or like 8, or just depending on when the sun goes down, or any of that. But we're here. We're doing our thing. We are opening figures as usual, and yeah. Also, want to point this out because I got the notification like just before I started streaming here on YouTube. At Silent Rob Stop Motion, who has been doing a giveaway at this certain time for they went through all of May, had like 100 participants in there, and did a draw where there were 3 winners and 3 prizes to get. First one was what was it? I keep wanting to say NeoPixel. I don't think that's right, but if it is, it is. But a lightsaber was the first one, like a full color changing and sound thing. It's really cool. And then second one was the SH Figure Arts Luke Skywalker from the Mandalorian with a custom cape on there. Let me make sure my chat is open. There we go. With a custom cape on that. So so that was second. And the third one was the SH Figure Arts. I believe it's the Kenobi series. Darth Vader. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, if you see this stream. But he did an initial drawing and had his 3 winners. But the person who won the Vader originally did not, come through. They just didn't contact, I guess, him. So he did a second drawing today, and I won. I had to miss it because I've been busy. I've been working, but we're here now. So thank you, Rob. I'll contact you, I guess, at some point. But that's a one-on-one thing. That's it's not really a part of the show thing, but I just wanted to acknowledge that. Thank you, Rob. Giving back to the community. He's been really cool. He's been very supportive, and he's a nice dude. He does Fortnite streams and stuff, and does cool little funny shorts and videos. So go check him out. Shout out to Silent Rob. Hey, thanks, Rob. He's in the chat. Congrats, bro. Thank you, Rob. I'll be sure to contact you. But I'm excited for it. It's I'll be completely honest. It's I really wanted that Luke. Because I've needed that Luke in the collection just for a while. And I don't know how hard that one is to find, but I need it anyway, so I'm going to get it at some point. But getting a Figure Arts like a Darth Vader, super awesome. Love that Vader. It's so awesome. It's so cool. So yeah. And it's been a while since I've also gotten a Darth Vader figure. I only have the Star Wars Black Series A New Hope one. I think it's the full retro carded, or was it the single release? I can't remember. I'll have to look at it again, but I know it's A New Hope Darth Vader. Well, original Star Wars Vader. But it's I've been meaning also to get the Empire Strikes Back Black Series Darth Vader, because that one is in my mind the best looking, really head sculpt wise, and also I think articulation wise. It seems a bit more kind of mobile. So I've been looking forward to get that. But a Figure Arts Vader, I will not complain about that. That figure looks so good. I can't wait to get that in hand. So we'll see. But Rob says, I hope you enjoy it, man. Haha. Thank you, Rob. I definitely will. I'll be so excited to get that. It'll be a stream. That's what we'll do. I'll do a stream. You'll get your shout outs, bro. It'll be on Instagram. It'll be on here. You the man. You the man, bro. Thank you. But yeah, but I guess if we want to get back to the actual stream, of course, every Friday here, we open up figures and also look at our weekly pickups. Also, one more little plug thing. Be sure to like, be sure to comment what you want to see on the channel, and subscribe. Do all that jazz because it helps. And I don't know. I guess the algorithm likes it whenever it's like you suggest and people will actually do it. So I guess subscribe after all this rambling, after these 5 minutes of listening to me rambling about figures already, but about a good person in the community. But yeah, always just helps out. And I always appreciate it. So yeah, but we'll finally get to actually looking at some figures, at least here on the stream. And again, if y'all want to see anything, free. I'm doing my thing. But we do have a couple pickups. I forget if I showed one of these on a previous one or not. I believe not. I think I got it like right after I did my stream, or like a day or two after I did it last week, as I usually tend to do, because Friday's the day usually. That everything works out magically. But yeah. So first, okay. Yeah, so first we'll show off this figure, because then one I got just just a couple days ago. One I'm really excited about, and something that goes, I guess, with the Star Wars theme. Spoilers. But first one is, I finally kind of I wouldn't say caved. I was just like, okay, it's like I've been seeing this figure at this specific store like multiple times. I haven't used, it's like, and I do have their pro account there, so I had my little my bonus be like $5 off, which is honestly pretty good. If we're talking figures, especially these days, it's like, okay, that's pretty decent. So yeah, I got the Marvel Legends Secret Wars Beyonder figure here. Of course, I have the Titania and the black suit Spider-Man, as I've shown before on previous streams. But I finally got Beyonder. He's been on the list just for a while, and I thought, you know what? Now's the perfect time to get this guy. It's like I want to do a stream, like him and Titania, because he's the because they are the two the main villains in the line, as you can see, because they're the two with the the metal square kind of things here. I guess shield. Yeah, it's a shield. So yeah, so there'll be a thing to look forward to. But Sound Rob says, nice. Are you thinking about getting the cap from that line? That's what I'm planning on. But it's like, but after seeing because of course just on, what was it, Thursday? So literally yesterday, it's like, they revealed that new Captain America from the Marvel vs. Capcom, like the 2-pack with the blue Venom. That one looks pretty cool, but this one still looks pretty good. I might pick it up still, just to do my duo stream there. And Silent Rob says, or the Wolverine. I won't be picking up the Wolverine. I have the CT Toys brown suit Wolverine, and for me personally, that's kind of all I really need for brown suit Wolverine. I might get another Legends, but this one I'm good on passing on, just for now. I don't really need it. The Iron Man, the Iron Man's good, but it's just like, it's just too much of the same thing, if that makes any sense. Because it's like, it's cool to get the roller skate kind of feet attachment there, but it's like, at least for me, I just don't need it. I have the 20th anniversary one, which is even kind of main Avengers, kind of start of Avengers, kind of Golden Age Marvel version, and that's what I think of, when I think of the classic Jack Kirby Avengers. I think of all those classic versions, but that's kind of why I also want to get the cap, because he's in brighter colors. I think the head sculpts are pretty cool, and it is neat. His shield, it's in pieces. It makes sense, but I got a full shield that I use for my 20th anniversary Captain America. So, and then it's all those guys match, because I got the Hulk there. And I got, who else? I got, I got the Target exclusive Black Widow. I got the Hawkeye. I got the newer Vision. I got the Mayfix Spider-Man. Then I got the Target exclusive Ant-Man, which was technically Scott Lang, but it's like, but I use him as the original as Hank Pym, because who cares? It's my toy. In any case, Beyonder, new villain, new character. Not, I think, entirely new sculpt. I think most of this is from Dormammu or Red Skull, except for like the collar and of course the headpiece, and also that little world kind of thing there. It's pretty cool. So yeah, so nice little thing, and also love the retro packaging. This packaging is like, it's so iconic. It's like the big, like the secret ores is really cool, and then of course the back, like that retro, and then nice art there. So we'll go over that in a future stream. So yeah, but definitely planning on to probably get Cap at some point. I do have the Black Suit Spider-Man. Shout out to Rocket Comics, where I picked those up because I literally saw their posts a day after that they had got them. And I was like, get this now. I'm not waiting. I'm getting it now. And I got it. And it was worth it. So really, really cool. Really nice. So yeah, so Beyonder and Titania, expect that in a future live stream. I don't know if that'll be the next one or not, but we'll see. Time will tell. But yeah, of course. But you guys will see next Friday. And I don't know. I should know by next Friday. I kind of didn't actually know. About like this stream up until yesterday. It's like I wasn't sure what to open, but I was like, you know what, we're gonna do something good. So yeah, but that's our first pickup. Like of this week. Our second pickup, I think a little bit more kind of exciting, but Rob says that would be cool. Thank you, Rob. It would be. But yeah, but our second pickup of the week is also another shout out to Rocket Comics as well. Rocket Comics. I gotta stop mumbling. But it's like I had some points there, to be honest. I had like sold some stuff, so I got some points there at the store. And so with that, he had the Star Wars Black Series Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is, I think, the first one. This was the one that came out, was a Walmart exclusive line, kind of the same as the Revenge of the Sith kind of retro card. I guess you would call this retro, technically. I don't know. Or just like that Clone Wars card, like that classic. Classic, I guess, would be the better term. But yeah. But this is the first release one that they've done. Back then, it was like the only way to like get this figure. Well, of course that makes sense because it was a brand new figure. But Rob says, "Ooh, Clone Wars Obi-Wan, yeah." So now I got both Obi-Wan and Anakin. If y'all saw, I think in the last or the one before stream, where I got the Anakin also from Rocket Comics loose. So if y'all want to see that little quick comparison, I can grab it. Just be sure to let me know in the chat. But nice Obi-Wan and in packaging, intact. But it's funny. It's like the guy who works there, like the actual, like the owner of the store. He was kind of like, he's kind of like, if I were you, I wouldn't open that. But he was like, but I know you, and you actually play with your toys instead of just keeping them in the box and in display. But Rob says, yeah, I want to see it. All right, we'll go grab Anakin because it is the same. Because it is from the same line. It's not the new one, which is based off of the Ahsoka series. I got the one that's based off of the animated series as the same as this one. You see Obi-Wan? Obi-Wan's right there. That's fine. The dog is going crazy. He's a barking man. Barking maniac. But here is the Anakin. Of course, as you can see, more based off of the cartoon with the shorter hair. He doesn't look exactly like Aiden Christensen, unlike to the Clone Wars one, where he actually does look a lot like Episode 3 Obi-Wan Ewan McGregor. But then you have Anakin there. Yeah. They do look pretty cool together, so it'll be a neat little thing. And I don't really want to get them out of the bag. I'll just keep them in the bag, at least for the thing. I don't know what I'll do for the stream. Yeah, for the thumbnail. I guess we'll really see. Zara says, I wonder what a custom head sculpt would look like on that guy. The armor is cool. Yeah, the armor is really good on these. I do have those, those custom ones that I use on the figure arts. I don't know if those really work. They do have, just putty on the inside, so like they're hollowed out. So they might work even on these. So we can try that out. I mean, that'll be a thing to do on the thing. But I kind of just like, my basic episode 3. But we'll kind of just see. It's like, I might just get a custom one for this one anyways, because this head sculpt for Anakin isn't perfect. It's kind of weird. But it's still pretty good. But this Obi-Wan, amazing. It looks just dead perfect. And I think there is going to be another release of this that's already announced, where this is Obi-Wan and one of his and one of his clone soldiers, but one of his clones, where they just have just the orange on the armor on there, and it basically just is just the same one. So that is nice. I kind of wish it was a 3-pack, in my opinion. In my opinion, because I feel like it makes more sense to have 2 clones, at least 2. You can't just have a one lone clone, at least in my opinion. I think it just makes more sense to have pairs of your army builders. So why not make a 3-pack of it? But in any case, this Obi-Wan, can't wait also to open. He looks so badass. And I also just recently watched the entirety of the original 2D animated Clone Wars, kind of like the mini series, I guess you would call it. It's where it's only like 2 volumes, and it's basically like 2 movies, so they're pretty good, and I really enjoyed them, and I liked kind of seeing that different perspective on like the lore between episode 2 and episode 3. It's like, it's very nostalgic, because I have seen, I think, like the first volume. The second one, I don't think I ever saw up until now. But it was really cool to really see them and, have that new kind of like perspective of kind of like what the lore was back in there. It's like, but, of course, then they came out with the 3D animated, excuse me, get my water. Yeah, but then, of course, they came back with the 3D animated series and kind of changed that up a bit. I'm running out of breath now. But yeah, and then I'm still slowly just making my ways through the full completed the 3D animated the 3D printed the 3D animated series. It's like, I'm slowly just making my way through. I'm like 2 or 3 seasons in, so I'm making my way slowly but surely. I mean, there's like 7 or 8. It's a lot of seasons. But DP69 says, good job on the Vader. Well, thank you, and welcome to the stream. And Silent Rob says, that Vader you won, I painted the blade with a glow-in-the-dark paint, and it has a custom cape slash skirt, and it has an unmasked head sculpt that doesn't come with that figure. It fits too. Okay, awesome. So I'll be looking forward to that for sure. Having some extra goodies. But with that Vader, so cool. But Deadpool69 asks, what's your favorite TMNT series? Are we talking kind of like movies, shows? I assume shows. If you're saying series, then favorite one of like all the cartoons? I'm trying to think. Because it's like, okay, the original cartoon was all right. Just a lot of goofy moments, and kind of by the end, it was a little weird. Then you had the 4 kids, like the Fox, I think, animated ones in the early 2000s, which Super 7 just released. Their figures of those are finally just getting in hand, and they look pretty good. I just don't need them right now. I got too much turtle stuff. Anyways, I don't got room, essentially. But then also there is I'm trying to remember, the 2012 Nickelodeon, when they acquired it all, and then they had like 2 other reboots since then. I would say my favorite, man. See, it's weird because it's like, okay, it's like I love all of those shows, but it's like I haven't really like completed all of them. I kind of would like start and get to like halfway through and then be like, okay, like I'm pretty good on turtle stuff. It's just a lot. So I don't know. I guess I would say technically the original cartoon is like the most I've really seen of. The 4 Kids one I kind of grew up on because I also, because around that same time they also did have like the Batman show, which kind of felt like in that same era, same style, and I was really into that one. So probably more like that one. But favorite, probably overall, I think of okay. Yeah, that is a hard question if we're talking just the series. Yeah, just the shows. And instead of like what version. Yeah, my favorite version, figure wise, might be. I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know. It's like what's my favorite. Yeah, kind of like Ninja Turtle like figures. Because there's so many. I love them all. But like series wise, probably okay. Overall, I would probably say I'm trying to think. I think okay, okay. I think it's like my favorite is the 4 Kids, the Fox. I think it's like 2007 animated or like 2005, probably around that time. But probably that one. Just overall, I think it had a great story. I love the animation and I loved how they kind of incorporated like the more like Mirage parts of it, but still making it its own and still staying with like more of like the cartoon kind of classic kind of goofiness a little bit, and then with the colors and everything. It's like I didn't really like the Shredder too much that he was an alien. I was just like, I want him to just be a dude, at least in my opinion. But it's like it makes sense. It's like it makes sense. Just with the story, it's like I do actually like when they did the big like the special where it was like all the turtles all kind of like meet. So where they have the cartoon, meet those ones, and then they go to the Mirage and see like all the different ones. So that was really cool. But then also when they did the 2012 one, where they also met the original cartoon turtles, and those ones were actually voiced by the original cast. So that kind of makes it a little bit better as a special, even though I do like the very grandness of the of that 2007, like that crossover one was like super awesome. I love that one. But in hindsight, it's like they did make them a little too goofy. I feel like that they were a little bit more character driven in the in the 2012 one. I felt like it was just more kind of just more like okay, it's like these are actual characters. They're not just goofy cartoons who make jokes all the time. Like these are like actual, these are the Ninja Turtles. They're just different, and they all have their own thing. So I don't know. It's just so much. But DP669 says, do you think that they canceled the Last Ronin live action film? I doubt it. I mean, they've only like just started like not too long ago. Because they announced it kind of like the start of this year or even like the end of this year. I think it was more like the start of this year, it feels like. But that feels like, I think it's too early to tell. I don't think they would cancel that unless they've been like just not very getting a lot of progress done. But if they haven't said anything, if it's still say it's in development, it's in development. So, it takes time to make a movie and get a script. I think they just announced it and have their director. So they're just going to have to see what they can do. Movies take time. You don't really need to rush it, especially these days with knowing how executives are and how weird they can be about it. Be like, well, we want this and this. And I'm like, bro, like it's an R-rated movie. Is it R-rated? I think that was like officially said. Was it? I can't remember. But yeah, but in any case, it's like that last Ronin movie. I'm hopeful. I'm so hopeful that we get a good one. I think it's going to be good. Yeah, because it's like it's a serious, more kind of adult kind of story with these turtles, and if they do it right, and there's been like a ton of fan, just animations, and if they go that route, come on, like, and also like do that in live actions, like with like suits, would be insane if they could do that. So definitely want to see it. It'll be something to look forward into the future. So we'll see. I doubt it's going to be canceled, unless if they just can't do anything and they gotta get a new director, which seems like a common thing with some of these movies now, where they gotta switch everything around. So we'll see. All right, but we're 26 minutes in. I think we are gonna start looking at our cartoon NECA Ultimate Shredder. I said that all in the wrong order. The NECA Ultimate Cartoon Shredder. We're gonna be taking a look at him. We'll switch over the camera, get a look at him, get our camera all going. Here we go. There he is. Little high. Our camera. Come up a bit. And DP69 asks, why do you think Hasbro didn't put in Capcom figures in the Marvel Legends line? Because they don't have the copyright to do that. Because they couldn't even call them Marvel versus Capcom. They could really only call them like Gamerverse, essentially. Because they don't have the rights to use the Capcom name, essentially. Thank you, Rob. Your collection is peak. Thank you, bro. You know, still the same as it ever was. Still as good as I can get it. How the hell do I get this camera to look forward? Look forward. I know it's high. DP69 says, I love your X-Men display. Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of perfect as like with this little thing here. We're going to move this light. There we go. Is this okay? That look decent. We're going to switch my lights over here. Over here. Over here. There we go. Looking good. Yeah, but you know, I love this display. Look at all those guys. I got a Juggernaut back there too, because they announced that too. Need that new Juggernaut probably. I need to get like these, like for these, like these risers, but it's like it's just the fact I got like villains and more kind of like flying, gliding guys and a lot of big guys. So, yeah, no, at some point, but it'll take time. But Deadpool, DP69 says, I'm working on a 90s comic X-Men display. Oh, okay, awesome. Kind of like that specific, that Jim Lee kind of era. Yeah, so that's like, you know, the time to do it. Yeah, you know, it's probably the easiest too, especially if you're doing a Marvel Legends. So you can get all these characters pretty easily. Of course, I have like my tiers with all like my different kind of like eras and different teams and different times and different kind of like styles, but I think that they all work. I like them all. But yeah, but here is our NECA TMNT Ultimate Cartoon Shredder. So where you got the whole thing going on here with the box. So of course you have your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo there. You have your nice little image of cartoon, all your villains in the Turtle Brewers Club, looking so cool with the turtle with the slash on the front, and then you have a nice little image of drawing of Shredder. Then you have Crane back here and his android body. You got Rat King and Baxter with their nameplates there. I don't know who that guy is. I didn't get that far. Well, not far at all, really. Then you got Smash. They got Leatherhead and you got Slash, who doesn't seem very thrilled to be there. But this is the Turtles Brewers Club. Start shredding the news. NECA. Kind of like, I guess, propaganda to not like the Turtles, or it's like, well, they're bad guys, so it makes sense. But DP69 says Jim Lee has the best era, and that's coming from a teenager. Honestly, I haven't read it, so I can't really say for sure. But it's like, hey, like if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. It's like I think he had the most like iconic looks. I don't know about stories or anything. I don't really read comics that much anymore. But I just collect the figures. But awesome looks and awesome designs. I mean, just look at this. It's so badass. You got Storm, you got Wolverine and the Tiger Stripe, you got you got Cyclops and that whole getup. That's so cool. Rogue, that. You got Gambit and Beast, just looking like Beast. Yeah, that figure's like perfect. I love it. But in any case, on the side you have that NECA logo there, your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo there, and then Start Shredding the News, volume number 20. So this is figure number 20, I guess, in their Ultimate Turtles line here. And then your turtle logo there, warning, choking hazard. On the other side, that same thing with NECA Turtles and Start Shredding the News volume. And then at the bottom, of course, all the wonderful people who made this great figure. So cool. Who did tailoring? Jeff Trabb, Mike Puzzo, and prototypes was Roger Fernandez. Tailoring was Susan Capone. Cool. Illustrations by Aaron Hazori. Or Hazori. Or Hazori. I don't know. And this is why I don't read the names. But awesome. Awesome. People, Randy Fulkin, Trevor Zant, Tom's Rose Jewick, Kashwara Studios, for the sculpt and fabrication, and then Stephen Masaryk for photography. So accessories included, also on there too, which is nice. But you have your Nickelodeon, your Turtles and Nickelodeon logo there, NECA, real toys, and all that stuff. And your barcode. Scan the barcode, see if it's at your Target. Probably, or probably not. I don't know for sure. But then on the back, we have a nice little back here of a drawing of Shredder, who's got a sword, and you got Crane back there in a little pod, and they're attacking Donatello, not the favorite. He's like, and he's got that sewer thing. He's like, oh man, but why is his belt buckle purple? That's not right. But in any case, looks cool. Looks awesome. I love this cartoon drawing here. It looks so awesome. But then here, you have a little promo image of of Shredder with his helmet off. And then another one for Shredder with this new figure with the gun. And then a nice little bio. I guess this is just a full kind of thing. So it says President Shredder. Oh, okay, so it's a whole like a kind of I guess it's a whole like a speech that he kind of like says, right, or I guess kind of reads out during this scenario. If this actually happened in the cartoons, I can't remember. I don't know, but there they are. We'll just kind of slow down here, show off all this. And so just to give y'all that moment to read, for those in the future who can pause and stuff, you can read it in full, but it's just a whole thing where he's just talking about how to defeat the Turtles and all the villains who are there with him and those who are not invited to the Turtles. To the Turtle Brewers Club. A nice little front there, but of course we have our flap here as the Velcro, and then you have an awesome kind of nice little promo image of the Shredder kind of just walking. He's doing the walk. It looks so badass. And then, of course, the actual figure. Look at that. Look at that with all his accessories. And, but I guess we'll kind of see. He looks so cool. He looks awesome. Yeah, but we'll go ahead, get this guy open. I love this whole packaging here. This is like perfect here. Look at that. That's just so badass. I love that. But yeah, in case we're gonna, I think we're gonna open up here at the bottom. Of course, as we're doing that, put that there. We are gonna grab our toolkit. Houses all of our opening tools, of course, includes the trusty X-Acto blade. There, Silent Rob says, looks great. It does. It does, Rob. It looks amazing. Yeah, but we got our little tape there. Of course, that's just right there by our logos. And then up, kind of glide down. There we go. Hopefully that's all the basic cutting. I know we'll probably have to do a lot of snipping in a minute, because, you know, these always have a lot of ties and everything going on. So we're going to open up this. Ooh, you got that new figure smell, like, immediately. There we go. And, of course, there is an insert. So it's just like a garage kind of background, I guess. You can even just pull it out. There's our empty box. I'll probably keep the front cover and at least the back, because I do like those. I do like the art. But the box is not really too much. But there's our little background there. So if you want to use this, I guess, in your, you know, in your displays, or if you want to use this for a picture, you probably could. You just got to make sure to have your light so it doesn't shine like that. But yeah, look at that. But Silent Rob says, gotta love that new figure smell. Oh, for sure. Here, we're gonna do a, excuse me, an off camera. Oh, this is some, oh, bro, this is like some fresh ass plastic. This is some fresh plastic. But look at that. We're gonna move this down. There we go. He's in frame there, looking already sick, if I do say so myself, in his plastic housing. Does have a little gel packet. Throw away. Do not eat. It's the snack for later, but not really. Don't eat that. Yeah, I just joke about that because that's what I always think of. I'm always like, well, there's my snack for later, but you don't eat it. Don't eat it. It's poisonous. It's just there to take all the moisture away from this. I do got a string on this. I guess I can just cut that, but we'll see. We're going to unpack everything, and then we'll go over, it's like, first we'll go over accessories, and then we'll go over the figure. I think that's how I want to do this. I can't always remember the way I do this. But I think that that's the way that we want to go today, because, you know, we got a lot of comparisons to get through, and we're already like 40 minutes in. And Silent Rob says, are they starting to do trays like an SH Figure Arts and shy away from tying it down? I think it's like yeah, what they've been doing for a while. It's like it is kind of like tied down. It just has a cover for everything here, so you can kind of see at the top. I think it is tied up there. So okay, so first we're gonna, okay, yeah, just for examples. So we do have twist ties that are back here. Why is there? Okay, yeah, there is one. So there is a twist tie that's here at the top. How do we want to do this? Hold up. Coming up, going down, coming in, getting in. Oh, I see it now. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. Yeah, I guess well, it's not that hard to explain. Yeah, they just have like a cover, plastic cover over everything, essentially, just to make sure it's all one in there, and then that it's all securely fit. If I can keep this freaking thing from going down, this thing just refuses to stand on its own. There we go. We'll snip here. Oh, okay, just you gotta come out. It's meant to cut. There we go. Then we have a second one here. There we go. That. Here, I'm really just dragging this cape everywhere. But as you can see, just have this over here. Does he have a third one? Is there a third one? Oh, there is one. You just don't ever see it because it blends right in. It's all clear. Not really thinking about it. Try not to cut yourself. Cut away. There we go. Get all these bits out. I hate these. It's like the most like tedious way to like have a figure kind of put up. But thankfully, but thankfully now, especially with the accessories, it's a little bit more bearable. But it's still authentic. There we go. We have our little cover here, as you can see how that goes there. So I guess first, okay, so we can just go over everything. So we can just do it like this, essentially. I want to get this straight. Why is this sideways, bro? Why is this looking awful? Okay. Is that decent? I think that's decent. Okay, so first, we're going to go over these hands to show off. So he comes with a pair of flat palm hands. He has very sausagey fingers. They are very big hands. He has his little knuckle kind of, I guess kind of like spikes on there, or kind of like pieces there. So pretty cool, pretty neat. We're gonna move them right there. And next we have a pair of holding hands. These are, and then these are actually hinged up and down compared to these, where they're hinged side to side there. Very nice. And that is on both of the hands. So very nice. So same kind of detail with these little knuckle kind of spike pieces. Very cool. And then our last alternate hand accessory is a more kind of, I guess, kind of like just older finger, or kind of like a trigger finger, I guess, thing on here, or kind of like a commute, or kind of like a place down, or button pressing, I guess, kind of hand there. But it's pretty nicely sculpted and has that same knuckle blade details there. So pretty good, and has a in and out hinge, just a side to side. And then our next accessory is what we saw there on the packaging. Our little, like our ray gun. Kind of looks, looks like a medical gun, because it has like the red cross on there, but is an all white with all that black lining detail there. Has some wires here, has a red one there, and has a blue one here. The blue one is a lot more, a lot more flexible. It's like this red one is not flexible at all. This feels like this feels like an actual like a rubber wire, and this feels like actually sculpted on here compared to that. But it has a little like a hose detail with a canister. I don't know. If this is supposed to be like a like a laser, or like a flame, or a gas kind of gun, but it's pretty cool. It's a nice sculpt and looks really cool, really, tech-wise. Did I just break something off of it already? What was that? What is this? Oh, what the heck? It has a little, okay. Is that supposed to happen? I don't know. Okay, so here on the actual stock of the gun, you have this little gray piece here, and It's like I accidentally had pushed it out, but I think it's what it's supposed to do is that it's supposed to like articulate because it has that groove there, but unless it's supposed to be like glued in, and mine just didn't have enough glue on it, but it might be like a shotgun kind of stock, you know what I mean, where it kind of like it flips up is my first thought, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. Because it would be more like this, but then that doesn't work there. I don't know, because you have the groove there. I don't know. I guess it is just supposed to like just sit in there. Because it doesn't have any room to like articulate. Or to kind of, yeah, or to kind of even like rotate. So so my assumption with that is that that's supposed to be glued in, but mine somehow just wasn't. Let me check the box. Well, of course he's holding it, but in any case, yeah, that's just how it looks. Okay, so it does have that gap. So maybe that, yeah, so maybe so like that's not supposed to happen, but I guess we'll see with the other accessories if something changes. But still, very nice gun there. But then, of course, we do have a alternate helmet head where he doesn't have the faceplate on there, and I'm showing off a Rokusaki as he is in it. Of his face, and he has these three little like crystal things here, these little blue hexagonal, or 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, or I don't know what it is, shapes there, but still nice detailing around. Has the three top bits of the helmet, has the little plating on the side with the little indents and the line there, so nice sculpt, very, very cool. And then of course we have the full-on Orokusaki unmasked face there. Like I am missing some black paint there on the hair, but that's not too bad. I can really paint that pretty easily. But nice head sculpt overall. I like the hair sculpt on here. It is, of course, very flat and basic, but I do like the shape, and I do like that they sculpted the hair kind of lines there. And then also, you know, the face is actually really clean. The eyes are looking forward. I do have a little bit of paint smudge right there, so we'll have to deal with that, but that'll be something in the future, and you don't really notice it really too much, I think. Well, it's there, but you have a little bit of gappage with my hairpiece, but we'll kind of see. But it still looks pretty good. I do like this. And it has like a more kind of like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm secretly doing evil stuff, but I'm cool still. All right, but then we're going to get to our next little accessory tray here. Get to the rest of these accessories. Ooh. If I can snip this correctly. That there. One. Like 4. What the heck? Yeah, there's like so many that were like just right there. What do you mean? Okay. Okay, that's that one. Excuse me. Yeah, but that had like two of the things and per thing. That's crazy. I guess they really want to make sure that that one didn't go. And then, of course, the top one. Oh, come on. There we go. There you go. Here goes all of our twist ties. Thankfully, it hasn't been too bad. I guess we'll see until we get to the figure how that'll really go. But at least so far, not too annoying. Pretty standard for what they've been doing with these. But there's our top of our tray. There. Go over there. This goes over here for now. Get our accessories in line. That going there. The next we'll show off first this little portrait. I assume that is Shredder's mother, based on, I guess, context, what that is. I guess we can see on the bottom here that actually gives us our list of accessories. What is it? It just says framed picture. Great information. So I assume that this is Shredder's mom, as we can see here. And she's looking, you know, pretty sinister. A sinister little Japanese lady, I guess, but nice little kind of like design there. It looks like a figure. So it's like, I guess they have a 3D model of this. So pretty nice. It's like they could do, you know, like like a box set of all like the people who who have been in like in framed pictures so far, because they've been kind of doing that. They did that like with April's aunt. They did that with the beautiful reporter, and then like the handsome reporter, and then now we got Shredder's mom, I assume, or grandma, whoever it is. But she looks pretty cool. Put her right there. The next we have this little amulet piece here. Kind of goes with that helmet a little bit. It looks pretty neat. What does it say? Yeah, just amulet on there. I guess, yeah, that's really just it. It's just like an amulet. I don't know what this did or does, but it has that that very like that white baby blue kind of like color to it, and has a nice little loop around piece there. It is kind of thin, but it is rubbery, so I don't think it's gonna break that easily unless you just like tear at it. But we're not gonna do that. But it is kind of flat, but it looks nice though. But nice little sculpt there, have little grooves and textures that are going on there, so pretty nice. And then we have a little disc here, an old disc. Let me just see what it says. A graphics disc specifically. We got ourselves a graphics disc. Honestly, it's like I love these little accessories like these. Like, it's so simple, but it works and it makes sense. You have a little, the little arrow on the side. You have the red triangle at the bottom with the white, kind of like line there with a blue line, and then a little detail with your blue arrow on the back, your white thing going on there. So pretty nice. And it's like always love these little accessories like those. So pretty cool. And then we have a stack of money of Shredder bills. It's kind of hard to get it with this camera. But there we go. Here, wait a minute. Let's see what this says about this too. Literally, just Shredder bucks. And does it say it on there? I can't really tell if it says anything. I think it says "In Shredder We Trust" at the top, and then it just says $1, and then it has then he has but Shredder's face as the 1, and it's just a stack of green bills. You do also have a back that has a 1, and that actually has the has Bebop and Rocksteady before they were mutated. So that's a nice little Easter eggs as them as humans. So that's cool. And then in Shredder We Trust. Is that it? What does that say on the back? Shredder. I can't really make it out. Shredder something rain. I don't know what that middle word is. Something Shredderville. Yeah, at the bottom there. I don't know. A very nice little piece there. I kind of wish that the bills actually were kind of like the actual, like the color of these little stickers, I think that it will look better, but I get it's cartoon. So it's like, this is probably what they kind of look like in the cartoon, but a nice little extra accessory. Didn't really expect that. But then you have this little diary here. I think this is what's it called? Kojima Brothers Diary. I don't know who the Kojima brothers are, but it's a nice little diary, a yellow book, with a green, kind of like trim there, and has the little break part points that are green as well. Has the yellow continue on the back. Has also a nice little logo there. I guess, that's their logo with the purple in there, and have the little pages, they're sculpted on there. And this does not open. It's just a solid piece here, but still also another nice little accessory. And then our last accessory that comes with this shredder, of course, is chef's hat. Because, cooking up, probably like some evil pizza, just for the turtles, doing his chefing stuff. It's all like sideways, and has some nice little like line cartoon details, and it also has a hole to fit into the head. So very, very nice sculpted. It could probably work for the turtles too, but more specifically for this shredder, of course, it's made for. But speaking of shredder, we are gonna finally get him out of here. But a nice amount of accessories, a lot of unique accessories, things you don't really think of when, but when you think of shredder. But honestly, not too shabby. And thankfully, I do have the old shredder, so can definitely kind of take parts from him if I want to, do any like specific looks for, just with this shredder, or even with the old shredder. See what I can do with these guys. But we're gonna try to get all of our twist ties out of here without breaking everything, without damaging the figure at all if we can. It's kind of a little difficult with the camera here, but we're gonna try our freaking best. There we go. Excuse me if my camera's a little wobbly. I'm kind of like right on it. Gotta get this guy going. Ooh. There. Ooh, a little scary, but I don't think we got anything. Make sure all of our pieces are out of there. And of course, around the neck as well. Of course, right there on the fabric, they gotta do it. We can kind of sneak back, or do we want to try to? Ooh. Okay, hold up. I'm gonna move this in front of my face so I don't screw this one up, because this one I don't want to actually screw up anything. So so I went at the back, kind of like at the right shoulder over of Shredder. Oh, we also did have the ones around the feet as well. I'm gonna do those back here too. Just screw this. Screw doing all these twist ties, bro. It's not too bad, thankfully. Thankfully this is not the worst culprit. That we have had on the stream. We have had many worse when it comes to NECA figures, with NECA turtles specifically. They just really want to tie down these guys like all the time. It's like, bro, what do you mean? What do you mean you want to keep these like entirely secure? They're not going anywhere. They're in a box. Put another cover on it. I'd rather have that. Just just have a cover like over this whole thing. It's not going to go anywhere. Why not just do that? I don't like the twist ties. It's just too much of a risk. But there's our plastic housing, and with our little gel packet as well. Done and gone. He does have a... What the heck? Is he? Okay. Hold up. Let me make sure on something. Okay, so this is just a separate piece there. Okay. All right. Sorry, we had to confirm something, make sure. Something was either just stuck or if it was just broke on it, it is not broken. Apparently, I think meant to do that, even with this other thing, but yeah. But do want to just note before we actually start to look at the figure, here it is. Really cool. But he did have a big little string that came onto the cape, but when I popped the head off, it just came right off. So that's not really much of a problem. Just an extra little trash thing. So, but yeah, we're gonna get him all kind of. We'll make him a little bit more presentable, at least here for the camera. Hold up. There we go. So here, our Shredder looking honestly pretty sick. I do got to say his face is a little bit. It feels a little lopsided, but I think that that's just the effect of the helmet, just giving it that look. But it looks amazing. I love all these armor detailings going on here. It's a lot bigger, a lot smoother. Like everything is just more like heightened and more rounded up. It does feel more of like the actual cartoon. It gives off more of those vibes a little bit more. I guess we'll be looking at the other Shredder in a bit, but yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's like I do like this cape here. I do like that it kind of billows at the top there, and then it kind of does kind of taper here at the back, and then you can kind of engulf him around a bit by the cape. But I think it's mainly just supposed to stay in the back here. I think that's the whole point of how it's designed, because that's kind of how we always had it in the cartoon. I kind of wish this did have a bendy wire. That would have been nice. Make this a little bit more, kind of like thicker, kind of like more robier, like because this is a very thin, kind of like cape, but it's like, but it works as like a folds very well. It's very natural. Of course, it's just actual cloth, but it looks pretty good. It's pretty clean. It's like you don't really have any like paint or anything on here, and there's no like pinpoints where everything is like cut or or kind of like messed up or anything. So pretty nice, for the cape wise. But then the body, it's just your all gray. It is a all new sculpt here. You do have a little neck piece down there, which is nice. But you have your gray kind of over, kind of, I guess, kind of like clothing here. You have a little bit of muscular, kind of texture there. Like you have the abs here, and you have the lines that kind of like indicate the body shape. Then you have the black belt that goes all the way around. I do have a little bit of a paint chip there. Not, it might be just like a molding point, but no, it looks like a white paint chip. So I guess that's where this has been sitting on there, or somehow, I guess. But then you have your nice, like your back, kind of like clothing texture on there, and then at the lower body, just that same thing there. Same black belt, has the kind of like the front kind of like cloth piece, for the front and the back of that. Looks super cool, super rubbery, all cool. And then of course you have a rubber kind of crotch piece there to give more for the articulation, but it's still pretty smooth and looks good, and is kind of hidden by this skirt piece, so very nice. And then down to the legs, just kind of basic, but but they are double jointed and pinless now, so that's very nice. But kind of basic, smooth, kind of like ninja pants legs. And then you have his little like his shin guards that are all kind of like big and pointed at the top, and has some more kind of like spikes and protrusions, and then nice little shoe kind of boots going on here. Pretty cool. And then, of course, at the arms, you have your shoulder pads here that have these same kind of like the spikes. And then you have your bare human arms that are double jointed and pinless. Little line details there to indicate the muscle definition. And then, of course, have the arm bracers that have these same spike details there. And then that actually does rotate, so that's actually makes that look a lot nicer. Hold up. There we go. So, okay, so that is a separate piece. So it makes them actually look a little bit better. There. We'll actually have to stand them up at some point. But yeah, they're very nice. And you have your little two like straps there. And then, of course, he comes packed in with these two-fisted hands with the, with the knuckle kind of spikes there. So pretty nice. But we'll get him stood up here, and we're gonna rotate we're gonna move our camera entirely. Get him down there. Kind of evened out there. Looking pretty sweet. We're gonna get him in a good neutral stance if we're able. His bracers do actually move, so they do articulate, so that's kind of nice to give him a little bit more of a different, like a silhouette. Look at that guy. That actually looks pretty badass. I actually love that a lot. I love that. I like that look. Where he's kind of like those turtles. I hate those turtles. Where he's just brooding. He's just like, I'm so mad. I don't even know what to do. I'm just gonna stand here and look badass. But he cuts a mean silhouette. He looks pretty cool. I do kind of wish, I don't know how long the cape would actually looked like in the cartoon. I kind of wish that the cape was a little bit like bigger, a little bit more fuller. I feel like that they could have made this cape at least a bit bigger. I don't know if it's because of how I have it on the body, if it's sitting weird, but like this feels normal, but like it could be more. Also, I do want to mention, this does apparently, I guess, come out, which is weird. It gives them like a weird hair look. I don't know if that's to switch out this. That's what, okay, so I assume that's what it is. So there's our little play feature. So where you switch that as the thing here. And then if you want to do, I guess, like an unmasked, kind of like faceplate, but still helmeted regular Shredder, you can do that. So that's pretty nice, and that's pretty cool. We'll switch those back there for now, but they look pretty cool. And this Shredder looks pretty nice. Like, this does kind of feel like it doesn't really fit perfectly. Kind of might want to heat it up a bit, at least for my sake, but I think it looks pretty smooth on there. You can't even really tell. It's like you can tell it's like on the profile that it does have that little notch. I think I just kind of have to push that in a little bit more, or try to do something. Because really on this one, I don't know how evident it is on this cut. Because on this it's not really as apparent, but this one feels a little bit more. So I might have to like see if I have to shave down any plastic in there, or see if I gotta like just heat it up to get it to fit. But we'll kind of like just see from there. We'll see what kind of goes on. But even still, this guy looks so sick. And we'll go over articulation real quick. We're gonna move camera up just a little bit more. Give him a little bit more. A little bit more kind of, stuff going on here. Let's clear this out. Okay. So, of course, at the head, he does have just a ball up there, so he can look up about that far, looks down about that far, not a whole lot, kind of more forward. I guess if I want to push it, I can try, but that's kind of more on the torso. So he looks kind of down about that much. Does tilt side to side, and also because it's a ball, can do a full 360 there. Pretty good. Has a shoulder hinge there, and with a kind of a rubbery kind of shoulder pad there, can go up pretty far. That's actually not bad at all. I kind of wish he had a butterfly joint. I feel like it would kind of work more with this body too, because I feel like Shredder wasn't really that bulky in the original cartoon. He felt kind of more skinny, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, for sure with that, and I don't know how it would affect like the silhouette of this figure, but it looks great anyways. But you can do rotation forward. There can only go about that far without hitting into the shoulder pad all the way, but not too bad at all. And then same thing really for going back. Also don't want to pinch that plastic and do it, but not too bad at all. And then of course you do have a bicep swivel there. Kind of does go all the way around, but I'd be more worried about paint rub on there too. But then you have a double jointed pinless elbows there. Yeah, and they do go past 90, so pretty good range there. And then as we saw at the actual, at these actual spike cuffs, and I guess that is the actual, like the, is that just like the forearm, I guess? It's just articulated in there, so that's all connected there with that sculpt, so that's pretty nice there. But then of course at the hands, you can rotate all the way around and also hinge out and in there, so pretty good. And then even with the alternate hand, just to kind of show off, these are so do articulate side. Well, actually, we'll just do just these ones. Do the grip hands, do hinge up, down there. So nice little difference there, but we'll look at those in a moment as well. Just want to always mention them during the articulation phase there. I do kind of wish that his arms would kind of like go more towards his body. They do feel kind of like sticking out a bit, like they only want to go down that far, which kind of sucks. I feel like he can always have his arms down. I guess if you want to push it a little bit more, you can, but that's probably as close as you're gonna get there. So not too bad, but not the greatest. But then at the torso, have a dumbbell joint there. So at the upper torso, you can hinge back. Ooh, don't want to push too much on there. Got to be careful with these guys. But hinge back that much, hinge forward. Not that far. Not too bad. Then do have a side to side tilt and do have a rotation there. I don't think he can do a full 360 just because of the ab piece there being there, but at that waist, you do have a full rotation there, even technically doing full 360 from that as well. So pretty nice. It's like, and of course it's like, but whenever you move it, you will have that line, kind of breakage, but I don't really think that really matters too much. Of course, it would have been cool to just have like, I guess probably technically better to have a ball at the waist there, but NECA doesn't really do that. At least not right now. Not for like regular like human characters. But even still, it works fine. Oh. But then at the legs, you kick forward only about that far. Not very far at all, honestly. Kick back, not too bad. Kick out, pretty good. You just probably want to be careful about the skinning too, kind of like, but too warped in the packaging, but we'll have to really see there. But then inside the thigh, you do have a swivel yeah, kind of like inside of the actual leg, kind of working there in the armature there as well. So pretty nice. And then you do have a pinless, double jointed knee there, which you don't really see too much from NECA these days, but looks like that they've been improving on a lot of their stuff. So look at that. Great range there. Yeah, of course it kind of gets stuck there, with this bracer piece, but that kind of makes sense. There, I do believe, is there a, looks like there is supposed to be, yeah, so there is a boot swivel. It's kind of more of like a calf swivel than anything, because it breaks there at that second piece there and does the same on this. It is a little rubbery, so you might want to technically actually heat this up. Well, I mean, technically, I'm saying probably want to heat it up if you don't want to break your peg, like how I feel with this one. So I'm not going to mess with that anymore. But this one, butter smooth, so pretty good there. And then, of course, at the actual feet, you got a hinge there that goes back about that far, a little tough there. Hinge forward there, and then you have a forward-facing pin for a rocker. Yes, some rocker on these figures so they can do great, crazy poses. I mean, let's do one right now. Let's try to get Shredder. Let's get him like forward, kind of like facing. There, kind of like just full on. There, I mean, that's not too bad. Of course, he doesn't really have toe articulation, so his feet can't really sit entirely flat, but if we can get him crunching, I feel like he should be crunching a little bit more. Two. We can get this foot flat. We can get that one flat. Get that rotation a little bit more. And look at that. He's doing a full-on, a full-on crouching pose if he can stand to do it, literally. If he can literally stand. Actually cooperate. But not the greatest pose, but it's something. It's cool, I guess. Nice seeing that articulation, but of course, if we want to see our variety, I think first we'll do our head sculpt swaps. Well, actually, first we'll do our, we'll do a couple of his accessories, that ones I don't think you really have to remove the helmet for. So first, I do want to try, does have the hat there. I assume that's also meant to come off there, and then you just put it there, essentially. Excuse me. Have our chef Shredder ready to cook up a meal. Yeah, like he's ready to cook up some turtle soup. Looking pretty good. All that bright white blowing out my camera, but he's still looking pretty cool and pretty menacing. But it's weird with that. But yeah, pretty nice there. And then, I guess if we want to do, okay, so we'll switch out hands. I'm gonna do this behind camera. So of course with NECA, their hands aren't really the greatest to take off, specifically in camera. So first we'll do that hand and this hand. Good. So those are two fisted hands there, and then we're gonna two different hands. So our first hand, so on the right, we're gonna So our first one, we have his more open hand here, and to just to kind of like have that gesturing like that. Oh, like you thought you've defeated me this time, but I have whatever is in my hand. I guess this is, yeah, I guess in my opinion, this could be, I guess, like the perfect hand to hold like this little disc. Yeah, this graphics disc here. I don't know specifically what it's for. I mean, it yes, like you should be able to like put something in there, I guess, but I kind of want to just see if I can. Okay, there we go. So it kind of, okay, so it kind of like slides into where that kind of like that groove is, and so you kind of like push it kind of in there, I guess. I don't know. Oh, okay. Shredder's helmet thing. I'm trying to do this on camera, but it don't want to work. I just did it. Like y'all just saw me have it. Just on this camera, whenever I can't get it in my face, it's just like it's awkward. Excuse me. As I fight with this stupid thing. I literally just had you holding it. How do I not? What? There we go. Let me get Shredder all situated. Get everything back in the camera here. Yeah, but here he is with the alternate hands as the little graphics disc there. Pretty cool there, and has that open hand as well, being like, it's like, I got your stash, Turtles. I got all your personal information on this graphics disc. And they're like, oh no, dude. Lumix, yo, congrats on winning the giveaway, man. Thank you, Lumix. Welcome to the live stream. We're looking at the NECA TMNT Ultimate Cartoon Shredder. Oh, well, welcome to the live stream, Lumix. Hope you're enjoying it. So far, I like your little profile picture. Nice little update. Just got out of the shower, said Lumix. Hey, all freshed up? You're ready for the live stream, bro. Look at this shredder. Yeah, this shredder's pretty fire. Thank you. You're welcome. We're gonna get this guy. A little more cooler looking here. I just don't really, it's like this cape is like, okay. It's not perfect, in my opinion. It's just cloth. But look at that shredder. He looks so cool. But we'll switch out our other hands, do our two gripping hands, and do our other set of accessories. At least a couple. But Lumix says, ooh, I'm saving up money for that Gamer vs. Venom dude. That figure is a beast. It looks like it. It looks pretty neat. It's like I've been seeing a lot of people just post about it, and I've been like, maybe. It's not really like my Venom, to be honest. It's like I'm pretty content with the one I got. I am though debating on getting the Walmart exclusive one. It's like the retro carded one, because that one just looks pretty cool, in my opinion. But I'm not entirely sure. I might get it. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks pretty cool. But Lumix says, I usually never spend that much money on, on Marvel Legends, but I'm a huge Venom fan, so I can't miss it. Hey, I get that. Venom is super cool. Venom is a sick-ass character. Just awesome overall. It's like, and then the way that they actually like integrated him into into the gamerverse, or how they did like the actual story, in the game with him, he looks so cool. That the whole story and that whole design just worked so well. So no Eddie Brock, which was weird, but pretty cool. But Lumix says, and that new Gamerverse wave, for Capcom, for the Capcom versus Marvel is so good. Yeah, that one is like crazy. It's like I do like that 2-pack version of Venom. It's like, but where he's in, in that all blue, especially with that cap. It's like that new Captain America looks so nice. I'm not sure if I'll pick that up, but it's not really like a Venom that I'm really familiar with. So I'm like, maybe I'll just wait. It's kind of like just something, that we can kind of just see how I'll feel. But in the future about it, it's like, but when I see it like in hand, so we'll see. And then Lumix says, that Juggernaut is better than the Maximum Hulk, man. Like, come on, Hasbro. Honestly, I was seeing that opinion around a bit. Like, I didn't even really connect that, but it's like, man, technically, I guess kind of is. It's like you don't really get as many accessories, I guess, is like the main thing for them too. And that Hulk, it's like it does look good. I just don't really care for the head sculpts, and I'm fine. With the 20th, the anniversary Hulk, that they've done before, and then the kind of like the first appearance, kind of like the Wolverine 1-2. I got that, and also, a Joe Fix-It, and also a Gray Hulk. I like those enough, so it's like I was just like, I'm good. I just don't need it, not for the price that they're asking, and not really for what I'm really looking for. But look at this Shredder. He's holding this thing. He has the grip hand, and he has the other open hand, but he's holding this awesome gun. Oh, well, Lubick says, but Lubick says like reusing parts, for Maximum, but the Juggernaut gets a whole new sculpt, which I'm not mad about. But like, come on, that definitely. It's like I saw that too. It's like I think it was unparalleled. The universe was saying specifically that they should have kind of like they should have like swapped it out. They should have made that Juggernaut a Maximum, and where it came with like more stuff maybe, and then have that Hulk like as a single release as a part of that Marvel versus Capcom, because I think that kind of works. I think that is a valid kind of like thought process of that. Maybe they would have changed like the head sculpts a little bit more differently, but even still, it's like it's just how it is. That's what they wanted to do. So, pretty cool. And then Lubick says, that Shredder looks dope. It is. It looks pretty dope. I would say this is definitely an improvement over the other, just overall already, just kind of like style and kind of detail wise, and also quality as well. But Lumix says, wish the Capcom versus Marvel, were just single figures only, but 2-packs is cool. 2, just the price is going to be, yeah. That's definitely a valid, like, a criticism. I kind of wish it was just a line, and they did, like, I guess the Thanos just would have been fine as a Build-A-Figure or something. Oh, you're all good, Lumix. But Lumix says, sorry if I'm rambling about this a little too much. I just never have much people to talk about figs. Hey, you're all good. I want to talk about this stuff too. I mean, it's crazy what they're doing right now. Yeah. It's like, but I kind of wish that they would have done is like have like Thanos as your Build-A-Figure, have that whole wave. Because how many figures is it? Because you have or even do like the Gargantua figure. I guess kind of like as your build a figure, if you want to do that, or have that Juggernaut and that Gargantos as as like your two like deluxe, a part of that whole thing, and then have the wave. So where he's like, I don't know, it's probably like 2 or 3 too many figures or something. But Lumix says not too excited about the Fantastic Four figs. Maybe if they go on clearance, I might get some. I think those are gonna sell well. I think that they look good. I like them. I'm probably gonna get them for the shelf. I just wish that they had like some kind of Build-A-Figure, because especially it's like not that many accessories. It's like if they're gonna like upcharge up to like 30, 35, I don't think that's really worth it for those. Really? I don't know. I'll have to see. It says like, it's like it's weird. And Lumix says, but Lumix says, just wish the BAF would be Galactus. That would have been nice. I feel even like a smaller Galactus, I think just would have been fine. Like, do a Galactus. It's like, and maybe it's like they don't really want to spoil that because they haven't shown Galactus at all in like very much in the trailers, but looks like he's going to be pretty comic accurate, so pretty nice. But Rob says, I am. Have you seen Sue's rack? What do you mean, bro? And Lumix says, what's up, Rob? And Lumix says, but it would have reminded me of the Toy Biz wave with Galactus. Yeah, that would have been nice. I wish that they would have done that. And it would have made sense. Probably have Sue come with Galactus's head. Have Thing come with like, well, it's like have Sue come with the body of Galactus. Have Silver Surfer come with the head. And then then you have to do 2 arms and 2 legs. I guess you could do that. Okay, so you could do that. It's like, I guess with, the 2 legs with Johnny, Storm, and then the other one, with Human Torch. So have his 2 versions have pieces, and then have the arms go with Thing and Mr. Fantastic. So you could have done the pieces there. I just don't know it's like how they would really want to translate that, or how big they would have gone. A 12-inch figure just would have been nice. I don't know if they could really fit that all in there. I mean, they did do like, what was it? That Ant-Man, the Quantumania wave. How big? It was Cassie Lang. Is that her name? I think that's her name. But she's, like the giant ant woman, essentially. Girl, whatever. But she seemed like a pretty big Build-A-Figure, so they could have done like that size. Would have been at least good for me. It's like, I'm like, I don't need a huge Galactus. I need a decent size, but, it just would have been nice. But but all those prices, I don't know how those prices are going to go. But Lumix says SH Figure Arts is going to, is getting out of hand with these prices, especially with their recent 2 announcements with Krillin and other, the NEMA King. Oh, yeah. Yeah, with the Super Kami Guru. No. Yeah. It's like, I love that. I love the abridged. It's like, and that's what I just always think about that with that character. It's like, even though it's like, yeah, he's an actual Dragon Ball character, but it's like, he does more in the abridged, and he's hilarious. Like, bro, $320 is just for a statue. I mean, yeah, that's crazy. It's like, for that figure, it's like, it's big. I don't know if it's worth $300. It's not worth that much. I gotta see on the Krillin, the Krillin I need. I need that Krillin, but hopefully, like, they'll do an actual, like, more regular release, so it won't be, hopefully, that hard to get, because I can't really tell if he comes with a ton of accessories, but in any case, he looks really cool. But Krillin is like $80. That's pretty standard for those. If he comes with with a lot of accessories, then that's fine. But I know it can be weird sometimes. Usually, but yeah, I'm trying to think of because if you get like so for instance, like they have the ones like at Walmart and Target, those are about like 35. Usually with more of the international stuff, it's still about 80 or even like 50 or 60 before, but 80 is kind of, I think, kind of okay for figure arts. It seems about normal. But if he doesn't come with a lot though, then we got some questions. But I'll have to actually look at the actual like listing and see all the product images and it kind of inbox with all of its parts and pieces and kind of determine from there. So I'll be like, maybe not. Because I've seen some figure arts that go for 80 and some just make sense. It's like, yeah, I get it. It's international prices. It's stupid. Even back then, it's like, even then, it's like, because you think about, the the Monster Art stuff, and even, like before the tariffs, that shit was like $200 on average, and it's not worth it. It hasn't been worth it for about like 3 years. They have been like insane about it. Of course, if you get lucky, like I did, it's like I picked up the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1972 figure, and that was amazing. It is like perfect. It's like, and I got it for a decent price. I got it like for under like for under be like 150. Like I got around technically like around like 140, which is decent for that. It's still a lot, but it's better than how it was now and before even then. And then Lumix also says the QC issues with Monster Arts 2, man, yeah, it's been really bad. It's been so bad. It's like you just couldn't buy figures. Yeah, you're just like, no. It's like price wise, it's not worth it. And then QC issue wise, it's definitely not worth it. Monster Arts is not bad, but the prices and QC issues sometimes. Guaranteed. For sure. I feel like it's more like the modern stuff, especially when it comes to the to the Monsterverse. Yeah, kind of like thing they've been doing is like more of like the legendary movies. Those have just been like not good. All their Kongs are bad. I don't like them at all. I know I don't have them, so I probably shouldn't really say what exactly that they feel or look like, but I just don't like them. I think the Kong looks ugly. He's small. He doesn't look anything like how he does in the movie. It's just bad, in my opinion. He's just a gorilla. He's just a weird-looking gorilla. He's barely even King Kong. And then with their Godzillas are okay. They just, they're still always just like that paint quality. It's like they just can't do it. They can't do it anymore. They can do it with the Showa. The Showa figures look amazing, but with the more modern ones, it's just like it's weird. It's weird. Even when they recently did the Final Wars Godzilla, which I do have and which looks decent, but it's just like, but it feels kind of cheap. It's like the sculpt just isn't there all the way. It's a weird kind of thing. But figure arts has always been kind of weird. But now it's too expensive. It's just too much right now. Especially in these times. It's like, bruh, you all need to calm down. It's just kind of like, stop it. Either make the good ones or just, you gotta stop. Because because I am gonna plan on getting the other SH Monster Arts Anguirus from the 1972 movie from Godzilla versus Gigan. Because, I got Gigan, I got Godzilla. I need to get Anguirus. Now they need to give us a Showa King Ghidorah. I probably prefer Haya to make any of those. But, Monster Arts is on the roll with it, so they better do it. But Lumix says, the Final Wars, the Gigan design will forever be my favorite, but they did him dirty in the movie. Oh, for sure. Like, they murdered the shit out of Gigan. he got fucked up. He got fucked up, and then he came back, and then he just died immediately from Mothra. Like Mothra was like, okay, we're done. Like I guess just like, okay, I guess I'm dead. But he was so badass. So maybe it's like we'll see him, against Supernova. I think it's gonna just be Space Godzilla, but even like it's like with Legendary, they don't want to spend the money to actually have actual like other like of the original like the Toho monsters, even like the villains. Yeah, in that case, it's like, bro, give us something, please. They couldn't even give us an Anguirus. They could only do Rodan, like in one movie, and he didn't even show up in in a New Empire. At least we got Mothra. But then after that, it's kind of like it, because they did Ghidorah for the 1-2, which makes sense because he's dead. But in any case, let's get some more of the classic monsters. I like the new monsters, but sometimes I'm just like, it's a Godzilla movie. I need to see another monster. I need to see a Rodan at least, guys. Then Lumix says, I hope we get him for the next, the Legendary movie. Yeah, probably. Most likely. But Lumix says if they make another kaiju and hype him up, but just for him, to be weak, like Scar King, I'm gonna be so mad. Honestly, I think a lot of people are gonna be upset if they don't do, an original, like Toho kind of Godzilla villain. It would make no sense for them to not do that, and probably would kind of like spell the official end of the MonsterVerse. Yeah, because that's what I was kind of thinking about. It's like, and a lot of my friends were discussing about being like, it's like after seeing the New Empire, it was kind of like, is this it? Is this like it for this franchise? And they kind of like move on with this and do something different? So we'll kind of just have to, I guess, see what goes on. But we're going to switch out our heads on Shredder, kind of get our full look at our different portraits and how they look on the figure. But Lumix says a legendary design for Space Godzilla would be so dope. It would. I have no doubt that will look so badass. But a part of me also wants, something else, because it's like I feel like it's kind of typical for them to do an evil Godzilla. I guess it kind of makes sense because they've kind of already done that. Let's be honest, it's like with but with Mecha Godzilla. But honestly, I would kind of like to see a Mechani Kong at some point do that. That would be cool. And then also, it's like but get like a Gigan. It's like, or even get, I don't know what other like space technically monsters there are in the Godzilla universe. I'm trying to think if there really is that many, but I don't know. But Lumix says I mostly I mostly want Gigan. It's kind of too early for Space Godzilla. That's definitely valid in that case. And Lumix says Space Godzilla 2 OP for sure. But Lumix says Kong would be demolished. Not gonna lie. Oh, he would. Like, he would not have a chance against Space Godzilla. Space Godzilla would just wipe him out. He would just straight up murder him. But that's why I kind of, and maybe they just got to do another like a solo, like a Kong film. Honestly, it's like they got to get Kong and Godzilla kind of like away from each other. They got to do something different at some point. But look at this guy. Honestly, and also that, the fact that I'm using like just static, I guess to kind of keep him up there. I guess he is just holding on to the cape there, but there he is. Yeah, with his mask off, I have his cape kind of low in there, looking pretty cool. And then, the Lumix also says, that King Caesar would be dope too. King Caesar is so underrated. He's been like in so little like media like Godzilla media, he needs to like make a big comeback. He needs to be in a movie or in a show or something. Bro needs to do something. But that head does look pretty good there, and then we will do it the full. Unmasked head. Of course, I would think I would probably recommend to probably heat up these heads. At least the other, the helmeted head. It didn't go on all the way. It's like, but this one is actual Oroku Saki. Yeah, like, in this version, it's like he exiled Hamato Yoshi, and then, like in the cartoons, but in the cartoon he became Splinter, but, as all we know, it's like he became Splinter in the cartoons, like compared to actually like having a pet rat already called Splinter, who just knew Kung Fu and then taught it to these turtle boys. These Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But there is Oroku Saki unmasked, and he has his Shredder bucks. They're looking pretty cool. And Lumix says literally he needs more respect for sure. King Caesar is like, his design, his look, and his power set is super unique. And he's only been like in like what? It's like in like 2 movies, like 3 maybe. If Singular Point, if he was in that, because they did put a lot in there, but they did like a Gabra thing. So so it probably technically wasn't King Caesar. But they could have gotten him in there. I mean, they got freaking Gabra in there. Let's be honest. And also like Varan technically, but they were like variants of Godzilla. But in any case, still there and still looking badass. I'm trying to think of what else. But Lumix says Monster X would make sense too for the next movie. That would make sense. But I feel like that they would have to like get away from the Ghidorah thing. But Monster X, and update it like a Monster X, and then have that like that reveal where he's kind of like, oh, like this is actually like the King Ghidorah, would be cool. And okay, it's like we're gonna go on like a whole like Toho Kaiju tangent already. It's like, but that reminds me, is like that they should really do a solo Mothra movie. And maybe that's something that they can set up, but in the Supernova movie, it's like now that you mentioned, if they would do a Monster X, that would be a good like a stepping off point. It's like to have Mothra like go through like space and time or whatever. It's like and do her thing, and kind of like go after like Kaiser Ghidorah. It's like after like he transforms. So it would be so cool. Then, but Lumix says a Mothra series would be dope to set up the next movies for sure. It's like have her kind of like hunt down all the different like Ghidorahs and fight them, and it's like kind of it's like just do like the Mothra movies, that they did, but back in the day, like back in like the 80s or 90s, it was kind of like the Heisei era. Kind of those movies, like, and those weren't really that great, but they were pretty okay for the time. And Mothra like looked really cool, and it was like Rebirth Mothra. It was like super cool designs and awesome. Like Ghidorahs, very different looks for them, but they looked so good and so cool. And it would just be nice to give Mothra her own movie. She deserves it. And that's my thing too. It's like I think I want more solo monster movies. Like I would love to get a Rodan, either like either do like a mini series, like how they did the Monarch series. I need to watch that one, but apparently that one's really good. But it's kind of like do that, but do that, but with like each main monster. Like give Kong even like another movie. Kong deserves another movie. I know it's like he's kind of second billing next to Godzilla. He's like the other popular monster, but like get them in their own movies. I feel like also doing a a Kong, like a solo movie, would be cool to introduce a McCaney Kong. I really want a McCaney Kong. Give me that. It's like, so where you have what's the kid Kong name, like Koba or like Kuba or Koba or whatever, like Koba or something like that. Like have like him be kidnapped, by the McCaney Kong for some reason, because there's a billionaire out there, Suko monkey, yeah. Thank you, Lumix. I just remembered. I just did too because of your reminder. Thank you, Lumix. But yeah, but have like a McCaney Kong, and he kidnaps Suko, or he traps him. Then Kong has to go fight this new McCaney Kong. Of course, he fought. The Mecha Godzilla, but that was with Godzilla. But now Godzilla's like, no, I don't give a fuck about this. Go get him. Go do it. Yeah, and also having Suko, kind of like grown up too, like a little bit nice. Oh, I'm back. It's like, but having Suko, kind of like growing up and looking cool. It's like it would be so nice. Yeah, and do the whole like the father son dynamic, because they have a very because they already have a very like abusive relationship. Kong literally threw him at another monkey and killed him with him, so it's crazy. But Lumix says Suko growing and being part of the team would be dope, yeah. And Lumix says a father-son duo, like Kratos and his son. Oh yeah, that would be like so cool. So many hijinks, so many giant monkey hijinks. Would love it. It would be so nice. Make more Monsterverse. Just actually, put some effort in it. Please, we need it. I mean, it's like we're getting Alan Grant. Like Mr. Like I guess third top, Jurassic Park guy. I mean, top is but Jeff Goldblum, and then we have John Hammond. But Ian Malcolm and all that. But having the guy who played but Alan Grant, he's a great actor, and he kind of gets me excited, and I like him, and I like Jurassic Park. So pretty cool. But yeah, nice little figure here. I think we're gonna go ahead and switch our head back here. I also do want to show off that you can actually take this off the cape here. So if you want a more, I guess, kind of like more what's his name? Yasagi. But Lumix says it was fun talking. I gotta get going though. My mom is going somewhere, and I need to go. You have a good day, man. You too, Lumix. Thank you for joining on the stream. Hope you enjoyed this little look at our Ultimate Shredder, even all his little bare bones here. But even still, I think this is a decent look. It's like he's training or something. He's getting ready to battle the turtles, and he was like, I don't need this helmet. I just need to concentrate and just fight. But we're gonna get him in his full garb, and we're gonna start probably doing our comparisons, because since we've looked at all of our accessories, all of our switched up, and all of our articulation. And we've been chatting for a bit. This stupid thing. I don't like that this helmet thing comes off a lot, but as long as it's not broken, that's all I really mainly care about. It's our time, 7:54. We are nearly 2 hours in, and we are at, what's our battery level? 42%. That's good. I think hopefully we'll be pretty good, and we will kind of switch up kind of accessories in a bit here, but I do want to try something. We are going to get this Shredder and all of his goodies out of here. Hopefully I'm not going to be losing nothing during the stream. Yeah, but a very nice Shredder with a nice amount of accessories and different looks and portraits. And, you know, all those good doings, especially all these weird ones, you know. Yeah, because they've been doing that a lot more. And even, okay, here, let's try. Okay, we're going to take the disc away, but we're going to try putting this amulet on him just for the different look. I don't know if it's accurate to have him with the other helmet or not, but we're just gonna, yeah, we just want to see how this looks. Or we can even, okay, so we can just switch out. There he is with the little amulet and with the little crystal pieces at the top of his head. Looks pretty neat. Nice little unique look, I guess, if he's more kind of, I guess, technically powered up there, but looks pretty cool. We're gonna switch out, get this amulet off of him. It's still kind of tough to get this head sculpt on and off of this figure, but once you kind of get the hang of it, you can get it pretty easily. Just still don't like that these don't really sit entirely flat at the top of the head, but it's okay. But we're gonna get our Shredder in a nice pose, kind of dramatic. I don't know how I did it before, but he was like perfectly sitting up here. I think we'll just have him like this. There we go. I think that's all right. That's not too bad for Shredder. Maybe get his cape a little bit. But we might change out this other hand. In a minute here, I just want to do my first like direct comparison and to see if his accessories kind of work with this. We'll get this Shredder back here. Well, maybe we'll just put him right there in the dead center. Paint chipping as well. As always, there's always going to be little paint things going on with this guy. There we go. There's our Ultimate Shredder looking badass. But we're going to go on to our comparison. So first, we're going to do a bunch of Shredders, I think, as usual. So, of course, first, we have our first iteration of the Shredder from NECA, where this was in the original 2-pack. Look here, and you can see how much differently that they've really done this character. His his armor parts were a lot more blue. I think a lot more kind of like has more scratches, kind of more detailing on there. Oh, and then also, of course, the head sculpt is completely different, a lot more simplified. I feel like it's technically more closer to the cartoon, and also with this, kind of even didn't really realize this does not have the kind of like the double, like the cell shading. This does. This has like a blue kind of like tone at the front, but then has a dark, kind of like gray kind of color, to like the shadow of the actual figures there. It's like, but of course, like all the details are basically the same here with how the helmet is shaped and how the arms and the actual like the torso. So it's all like those same little details, but just more adjusted, and I think well defined more here. And then even at the skin tones, like the skin tone is a little bit more, yeah, kind of paler here, but I think that's just more, yeah, for more accuracy of how this character would look. But it's like you can definitely tell, yeah, like how like short, it's like the, yeah, that the human characters kind of started, and then how they've been kind of growing even with this. So you can see how much taller and how much more imposing, and he does feel like a, yeah, a lot more bulkier. I feel like this just works better overall, even like as like a figure. I think it just works way better. But this one is still good for the time. But I do want to try Argana do this, and also he's got those terrible, terrible little like those flat duck feet, and he can barely stand. He is very loose there, but we will give him the other Shredder's sword because it feels weird that he doesn't have a sword, at least. Because, you know, it's Shredder. He's got to have a sword or something. I mean, him and Splinter literally in the first episode had swords, or at least at the first like 2 or 3 or like 4 episodes. You know, they had the whole like the first saga essentially. Yeah, the whole first like story. So he looks pretty good with that sword. Yeah, it is kind of loose. Yeah, it's not made to really fit in his hand, which kind of sucks. But you know, what can you do? We'll get him to kind of try to hold it a little bit naturally, a little bit better there, but pretty cool. Really, really nice. Just awesome. You can kind of see like the difference between. So he's like, uh, 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 I guess I'll just go back here. But yeah, but we'll go ahead. We're going to switch out the hand now because we'll keep Shredder with, yeah, we'll keep our first Shredder with his sword, at least for now. This one might be going, I don't know. He might be going to a bin, might be going to a pile, might be going off somewhere else. I don't know. I'll have to really see. I'll have to just like, yeah, I'll just have to like piece apart stuff and see what kind of works with this figure that I can maybe add to improve even the ultimate figure. Even at, yeah, even like try this cape, even though that cape is probably really tiny on that new one. And even if I can even switch out the heads, because that's a whole battle with those old NECA figures as well. Switch out our hands real quick. And Rio or Rio or Rio Hazuki 1999 says 10 times better Shredder. Yeah, the new one, the only thing it needed was a sword and a wire in the cape. Honestly, I think you hit it right on the nail, bro. Entirely agree. I think that's like all this guy needed was just a sword and then probably just a better cape. Even if it wasn't wired, I think just a better quality cape just would have completed this. But even still, it's like this guy. He looks so much better. He looks so cool. He looks so awesome. Like, and he's just massive. So we'll put this Shredder back here. Really cool. And then for our next Shredder comparison. Okay, so we'll go with technically the first Shredder that ever really kind of existed in time, I guess. But Rio Hazuki, 1999, says the original was good. As the line grew, that Shredder became outdated. Oh, certainly. It is certainly outdated now, and we will see that, yeah, as compared to with most of the human characters, or at least of the main ones that I really picked, and most of the turtle line. Anyways, but here we have the Mirage Battle Damage Shredder, where this is the blue variant. I need to get the red one But right now, it's like I'm pretty content with this blue one. I like the shadowy look, and then the blood on these slashes kind of stick out more. But you know, it's like our very first Shredder. It's like yeah, that we got in the comics, the one that bit the dust like immediately against the turtle. Like the turtle, like literally, like murdered him, and that was their whole plan. It's just to murder the Shredder, and then you know, then like dinosaur aliens became a thing, and brain aliens, and then they're like, what the heck? And then the Shredder came back somehow, and then he was Karai, and then it wasn't, or stuff. But you can see it's like how much difference like it is from this to this. It's like yeah, from the original comic, it's like they took like the basic elements of it, you know, when it came to the armor and came to the actual suit, which just added a cape and kind of defined him more and made him more human-like. And you know, sleeveless too. He doesn't have sleeves no more. He just has like the bracers, and he's a lot more bulky as well. Yeah, because even like that old Shredder is even kind of more more kind of skinnier, more athletic built. Still looks freaking badass. Let's try to get him to actually stand up. Okay, there we go. Then our next Shredder that we'll be looking at, we'll do. Do we want to do? Okay, we're gonna do just staying with NECA still, and but coming back to the cartoon line, we do have the baby Shredder. See here, angry little baby Shredder and his purple clothing there, a lot different, of course, but a variant nonetheless. Another Shredder, he could be a clone as well, because Shredder did that too. He had a lot of like, weird mutated clones. I gotta get some of those. I don't even have any of those Mirage ones. But then now, getting away from NECA, but going with the original Playmates. The more recent reissue of the Shredder. Of course, this is just their original, like their toy look, where he had the blue armor, and then, you know, no shirt, and then with the weird stance, even at these modern times where he doesn't stand because he's a terrible figure, and they still couldn't figure out how to make him stand because even the original just couldn't stand. But there he is, looking pretty neat, looking like how he does, because that's just what this guy looks like. He's just weird. I don't think we're going to be able to get him to stand, so he might just have to go. Shredder. One of the worst, honestly, of the Playmates. Like the ones, it's like, it's just kind of like, guys, come on. You didn't even try to fix this, even when you made the new one. It's just so bad. I hate it. I hate it so much. We're going to get a little Shredder. We're going to try to get every Shredder out here on screen. There we go. And then, of course, now we're going to get away from our animated and comic and toys. Of course, we have the NECA movie Shredder. This is, of course, the first movie version. This is the 2-pack one, where it is him and Splinter. Their first one back at Walmart, where they try to upcharge me because of the online retail price, but it is not. But it was not like $80. It was like, bruh. Like, no, it's like 50. Back then, it was about like 50 or 60. Like, guys, stop. Just listen. But this Shredder is like, it's so perfect. I love this whole kind of cloaked up Shredder. I know he's all kind of like not really in his armor look, but it's like, I kind of like this version. A little bit more when he's all like cloaked up. He's all like, I am your father. I am your family. We are your family. Really cool. And then, of course, got to bring out the second movie Shredder, a little bit taller, a little bit bigger, kind of more based off of the cartoon, I think a little bit more design-wise overall. Has the cloak is kind of just like a cape now. Has the more intricate design, kind of helmet. There has the ooze and everything, but it's all just the same costume, but still looks pretty cool. Of course, he's going to be kind of difficult to stand too. These legs are just never the greatest on these figures ever, but they work pretty well. But then our last one is a big guy. Our last Shredder comparison. I don't know how we're going to be able to do this. But we're going to try, I guess. Of course, our last movie Shredder also comparison, and last Shredder comparison in general, is the NECA Super Shredder, and he is humongo. You can just see how tall he is. He is humongous. I mean, he's that tall. That's so crazy. But an awesome figure. Looks so cool. And this is the Walmart exclusive, like their color variant, because their regular one it had more brighter purples and more like an orange kind of like highlight to it, but I just didn't like that orange highlight, at least at that time. Maybe now I probably prefer it, but this one I still like. I like the darker colors on this Super Shredder. He looks so cool. Yeah, but there's all of our Shredders kind of all together. Even do a little bit of a... We can do a little bit of a zoom in. Of course, this is on my phone, so it's not perfect, but there he is. There's all of our Shredders looking pretty good. I'm kind of surprised I don't have more Shredders. I look around real quick, because I've looked all around. It's like I've checked every collection I have. I have a lot of turtles. But yeah, I think besides the the Karai as Shredder, which I do have, but she's in box still because I gotta do a stream of her at some point. I have some of the foot soldiers, but that is all of our Shredders that are opened in the collection. And they look pretty cool. They look awesome. I might just keep them like that, at least for now. I think I will do a few more comparisons, though. I think we will leave these guys out here because I don't really want to move them, at least for now. And I will do... We're going to zoom out a bit. Maybe zoom in. Oh, excuse me, just a little bit. Zoom in. Zoom. Okay. I think that's fine. Maybe. We'll do... That was decent. I guess that's okay. I'm going to try to get this a little more centered. That's still cool. Okay, so we're going to do... Yeah, we're going to try to go quickly with these next few comparisons because it's already 8:14, already over 2 hours. But we're going to do with our cartoon villains. So first we got Bebop. Oh, if he doesn't want to fall over. We got Bebop, and he has the Playmates. Excuse me, I gotta do this again. A little too much. Why can't they just make a slider instead of having me keep poking at it? There we go. I think that's about what I want to get to. But yeah, but there's our Bebop with our new Shredder. Need to get my hand in there so that light isn't too. How about this? Sorry. It's okay. It's just always gonna still be a lot, but we're gonna get our rock steady. In here too. Looking pretty great. The two boys. Shredder's main henchmen, his two mutant henchmen. Love these guys. Awesome figures from NECA. Just perfect. And these are the original, like the 2-pack versions. I know that they have the newer ones that were like more updated with the new colors, but I didn't really care for it that much. And then next, of course, we gotta have Krang in his little pod here, looking pretty cool, like this little version of Krang. Oh God, excuse me, as I try to not kill my camera. Wish I could also like turn down my slider to turn down this freaking thing. We'll turn this down a bit. That's better. It's like it's so like blown out with all that gray. But then we have our Baxter Stockman also from the cartoon line. Pretty small. I need to get the actual human version. That's what I kind of more think of. But still pretty cool with those two. Here we'll do another shot with them. Get them on there. Looking pretty cool. Of course, Krang is like, Shredder, Shredder, do your job. Whatever that is. And then kind of getting away with getting away from the cartoon collection, but getting to one of my favorite figures. Have the Archie kind of comics slash. One of my favorite figures, really, of all time with these guys. And then also wanted to do another alternate kind of toy line, but also stay within technically these are the villains, and this is kind of like what's on the shelf. We do have the Super 7 Ultimates Mutagen Man we looked at before on a stream, but no, definitely is based off of the original Playmates toys, but I think he kind of works in this. Of course, he's not like accurate really to how he looked in the cartoon. Even if he was in the cartoon, I can't even remember. I know we had a figure, a 2-pack with Ace Duck in this cartoon collection line, but still really, really cool. Really awesome figure. Glad I picked it up. I need to get some more of those at some point. I do have, what's his name? That cat. It's like Scratch. I got him, but one day I need to pick up the actual figure of him. I don't know how soon or far that'll be, but hopefully one day I'll have the chance, but I'm not so sure. So the next, do with another big figure, we have the Android Body Krang Ultimate, who is also humongous as well, but you can see how he looks in there, and you can see how Krang also looks in there next to him. And and that Krang looks like perfect to me, at least for me. It's like, I love that Krang so much. It looks so good. With the Shredder, we'll just do him by himself. for that sake. And then we are going to do a few of our foot soldiers, our cyborgs, if I can get them to hold their crap. Okay. Rocksteady, got to get his helmet back on because it keeps falling off. First one, we'll get our first one. So this is like our most basic one. I believe this is one of the Ultimate versions. So where he just has a gun. His hips do not want to stay. They are always trying to fall over. But pretty cool. But then we have, yeah, my personal favorite one. Who stays okay. His hips aren't the greatest either. But this is the ice cream holding one. Yeah, and this one I did a picture of a while ago on my Instagram. Check out my Instagram. I can't believe I didn't mention that until now. But check that out. You'll see this ice cream holding ninja. I'll need a name for this guy. I love this. Foot soldier, just kind of like casual. I'm gonna turn. Not too much. What we do. I'm gonna need to turn down these lights too, because these are just like there's like just so much light going on here. Like yeah, they're like just blowing out my camera. But in any case, they look pretty good. And then of course one more, because these were all in the thumbnail picture. We have our cut in half foot soldier there, looking pretty sick, looking pretty cool. Love these guys so much. Then I'm out of here. Even, I don't know, Fred? I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to think of a name, but we'll first do, okay. So we'll do, okay, this will be a nice transition. So first we're going to do our cartoon turtles with Shredder. So, of course, we got Leonardo. Here we got Donatello. There, and these are what all these guys look like on my shelf at the moment. Raphael. Probably should have dusted these guys off, but we were kind of, a little hectic on time. As always, we don't got a lot of free time these days, but we're still doing the streams. They continue on. There's all four of our cartoon turtles. Oh, God. Hello. Of course, a little bit shorter, but that's to be expected because that's what the style of these guys are. A little bit shorter, but still kind of stockier. But I think they look great with this Shredder. Get him even looking. Or at my camera, look. Get Raph there, get Donnie more forward there. Number two, get Mikey a little bit back. But there they all are. Looking pretty amazing. Looking pretty cool. I don't know why my camera wants to blow out so much on this thing. I mean, it's like, you're right here. Balance. Just balance out the white. I don't know why. It's just too much. It's kind of like the light sensor is like right there. It's like no. Too much. too much. Even like a little bit I can do. Even still. Still looks pretty cool. I don't know how this like, I don't know how this thing works on itself, but I got no understanding why this stuff doesn't work. But in any case, it's here. They don't look the greatest, but they look good. And they look perfect next to this new shredder. They look amazing. So can't wait to do hopefully some pictures at some point. If I get any more free time to do these, but we'll do a quick little rundown. Even do, okay, one last little kind of like deviation from the, yeah, like from the cartoons. We're going to do our movie turtles just for fun, just because, you know, yeah, just because we got the shredders here. So might as well do these. And I always have these movie turtles out just because I always need to move them whenever I'm making up this setup. So we'll do the same kind of thing here. Have the boys looking on. I know it's like, yeah, it's literally like the same kind of like setup for these guys. But look at them. They look so good. Kind of makes me want to get the new NECA turtles where they're, where they're like bigger and bulkier. Like the Mirage ones, because those ones do look pretty good. But these ones, these are like perfect figures. You can't beat these. All right, but now we're gonna move on. Get to our last bit of comparisons. So first we got Splinter, good old Splinter, you know. Gotta have it. It's the guys. It's them. They got the history, and they look cool, and they look awesome together. Love the size difference and how like accurate Splinter actually looks to the cartoon. Really well done, but then, of course, gotta have April in there as well. I don't think she's like perfect. I feel like that they could do one more pass on this April, especially when it comes to the head sculpt and with the neck area there. It's like they could really hammer this in, but it's like, but overall, she looks pretty great. I don't know why her little noose thing does not want to stay on her shoulder now. It used to stay like perfectly before, but now she's like, no, don't want to do it. But there she is. I like having her in that kind of look. And you know, it's like this, this gives you a better understanding of the human characters and their sizes and how they look there, even compared to the more mutant kind of characters. Or Splinter's staff doesn't really stay in his hand that well. Excuse me, camera, don't die. Please, how much? Okay, so we got 25%. So we got plenty. So then we'll do our next comparison. Well, we'll keep these guys out because we'll do an M4s. Of course, we got that Casey Jones here, and this is the original 2-pack version, but with the second 2-pack version in the suit. With the with that alternate masthead there, I think it just looks better, and I think it just works out proportional wise. But then going back to the Mirage line, we have the Fugitoid, my favorite Fugitoid figure. Looks amazing. It's just perfect. It's just amazing. I love it so much. Badass. Freaking figure. Look at those guys. Looking so good. We'll move all of them back. Probably give them more of a second for y'all to actually look at them, but I'm trying to go quick so my battery doesn't choke out. But then keeping on with the kind of the comic, but getting back kind of with Archie, we have Man Ray, technically Ray Fillet on there, looking pretty cool. And then kind of going with that kind of stylization, but still actually going back to the Mirage with with one of the original turtles. Looking really cool. We'll even move Ray Fillet out of here and get the other first turtle. Mine's a little messed up, but I haven't really been touching him. He just looks cool. There he is with his little spinning nunchuck piece there, and they just look so good. They look so cool next to the Shredder. Awesome. And then our last two little comparisons, little quick ones, have him next to the Mirage original 2008 Michelangelo, and then the newer Mirage Splinter here. Definitely a different style and definitely a different look. Turtle wise, I think they scale actually pretty well. Not too bad. But definitely like the Splinter is a lot more smaller, but actually I think kind of works more technically proportions to, a giant rat guy. Because this is kind of like the size that a giant rat man probably would be. But a lot darker in tone and a lot kind of like more stylized to the actual comics and how these guys look. I hate that it does that, but they look really cool. They look really neat. So yeah, awesome figure. Just looks so cool. I guess if I want to, do I have to? I'm probably not going to. I'm probably just going to just zoom in. We'll get him with all of our shredders again. Kind of get in there. Get him stood up there, nice and tall. Look at that, in the center. Just looking really cool. I love this. I love this Shredder. I love having this update on this new figure. I think we're going to get in his baddies. One last little. Can we do it? No. Well, we got Rocksteady there. Nah, we won't do it. Okay, we're good. So yeah, so I think we'll call that good for the stream. Hope y'all have enjoyed. We're already 2 hours and 30 minutes in. Not too bad. But yeah, I hope y'all have enjoyed the stream. If you got any questions, anyone here in the live chat got anything on here? I don't have anyone here technically, but thank you for the 3 people who have liked here live on the stream. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone's support. If anyone, okay, so last kind of like roundup. If you got any questions or want to see anything on this, I'd appreciate it. Because it's just cool figures, and I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna try to zoom in at least a bit. There they are. We can even move this Shredder out a little bit. Oh god. But there they are. A little more zoomed in. Of course, you can't really see the baby Shredder, but that's okay. It's not always about you, baby Shredder, but in any case. Awesome upgrade. Needed. Definitely feel the vibes from this now, especially just getting this open. I think it's definitely it feels more accurate, and I think it is definitely an improvement. on this kind of style of Shredder and of this representation and this figure type. So yeah, hope y'all have enjoyed. You know, as always, be sure like the be sure to like the stream. Hopefully I'll get a new video up soon. I got a couple plans. I have a few kind of edited now, so we might get some more up and we might get some more pictures up at some point soon. We'll kind of see. We'll see from there. But yeah, be sure like and then comment what you want to see here on the channel. If you want to see something on the live stream, something different on the live streams, not just do unboxings or something, or just talk about toys, do something, or what videos or shorts do you want to see? And, you know, expect a short of this guy. Hopefully tomorrow, if I got the time, I should be doing it. I probably will be doing it. So, you know, be expecting that. But, you know, thank y'all for the support on this. And, you know, just comment just what you want to see on the channel. And then, you know, subscribe. Just subscribe. Please. It's like, I think my goal, if we can, by the end of the year, maybe get to like, maybe at least like 300 would be cool. I would like to get to 300, maybe even 400 or 500. If y'all really like this content, please subscribe. I want to keep making this. I want to grow this channel. I want to keep making more content. I know I'm still not doing as many videos as I probably should. You know, but it's like, but you're always going to get the live streams, and at least it's like you're probably going to get the shorts too. So that's like my two main kind of like ways of getting these figures and getting this content out to you guys. And you guys seem to like it. And yeah, and especially the shorts. The shorts get hella views. So it's crazy. But yeah, I hope y'all have enjoyed. Check out the Instagram. It's been kind of not really that active. It's mainly just showing off, yeah, that I'm doing this, and then also, you know, the reels on there too of the same shorts that I put on here. So be sure to check them out. You know, do y'all's thing. Be cool. Do good. Have a good night. Hope you make it through your weekend well. And goodbye.